Hello, everybody. It's Pojo. We are back with yet another legendary pile. A little bit sorry to be posting so many of these in a row, considering we just did Greedthorn, but I've been really enjoying this deck, and it's just kind of been working really well. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about it a little bit as we grind up a master. Basically, what we are doing today is we are doing a mid-range list that is trying to push ramp and use cards like Trailmaker and Genetrix to bridge the gaps between some of the higher end cards like Rezon, Ikaria, and Jek. And we're basically just playing a lot of really nasty 6 and 7 drops that are really hard to deal with, and pushing mid-range in a way that we can actually do just a lot of big, bad, threatening things to our opponents. So let's talk about the deck and show you what we've got. First things first, we got our standard Teacher and Trailmaker at 2. Both of these cards are really good with Genetrix. Genetrix is very good at forcing through these cards with the +4/+4 bonus, and Trailmaker in particular fixes for Genetrix, which allows us to put her down and give us like a little bit of bonus. It also means that we can run 3-color decks a little bit more fluently, and just being able to play around these early 2-drops gets us into the mid-range, which is where we want to be. Aurelian Merchant follows up on 3, which ramps us to 5 for cards like Martial Ironthorn and Worldbearer Behemoth, both of which are really solid openers to put down. For our market, we're running Praxis Banner, Sandstorm Scarf to knock down flyers, which are generally kind of a problem for this deck, Disjunction to deal with attachments, a second Worldbearer, a fourth Worldbearer Behemoth to basically just get ourselves into a good position, and Invoke the Waystone since we're a pretty heavy-based deck and we want to have a lot of options and card advantage available if we need some sort of long-term strategy. There are other options for this 6 slot as well, but certainly this one's pretty fun, and I really enjoy having some sort of fun in my market just to make things a little bit more interesting. So yeah, I've enjoyed this card most of the time that I pulled it out of the list. Knight Chancellor Seraph, another extremely good Genetrix pairing. With the Overwhelm, she's just extremely solid for giving the +4/+4 buff, and without the Overwhelm, she's still got the pay 8 to exhaust and play the Random Time or Justice unit, which gives us, once again, a huge bevy of scary threats that are actually very large. Genetrix's ramp really helps with that, so there's a really good double synergy here, and we're playing a lot of cards that are very high on synergy with Genetrix. Finally, Genetrix herself, which I have some amount of synergy with in pretty much everything that we're running, but also like only 3 copies at the moment because I am a day behind. Still, I'm enjoying her pretty well at 2 or 3 copies. She's a very influence-deep card, so running 4 copies might not even be correct for the deck. We've run her with 2. I'm currently testing her with 3 and feeling okay about that test, so we're going to go ahead and see what we can do with that. Martial Ironthorn is our 5-drop, gives us a lot of extra power and pushes us into some of those deeper influence costs for cards like Ikaria and Lieutenant Raylia, but also is just like a good way to get some finishing going and help out with the just overall setup of the deck. This is a deck where you play Martial Ironthorn on 5. You actually try to get pretty aggressive with him, you push out the big units, and you keep building board advantage. We aren't a harsh roll deck, we aren't a deck that runs end of the story. We are actually trying to put out mid-range units every time, and this is one of those situations where Martial Ironthorn really shines. Worldbearer Behemoth, of course, attacks and gives random power, combined with Ironthorn, gives us an activation for Ironthorn, but also gives us more ways to push up to 6 and 7, and get out cards like Ikaria and Rezon on Greatbow Master. Jek the Bounty Hunter disables big mid-range units. I've been finding this to be really useful against the mono-time mid-range stacks because he trades very well with most of the 6-drops, and he also stuns 6-drops and silences some of the really tricky ones like Cerso or even Sandstorm Titan. He gets rid of a lot of problem cards, and he trades very well with everything, which is basically exactly what we want out of a pretty simple 6-drop unit. Also, he's fairly light on influence requirements, which is fairly important. We're not running Heart of the Vault in this deck because we've already got the double green, double yellow for Genetrix, and we have plenty of different ways to gain advantage on board that will generally translate into card advantage in terms of what kind of trades that we're giving and what kind of push that we're offering. So we're super happy to run cards like Jek instead. Rezon Greatbow Master has Flying and Reckless and Lifesteal. The Lifesteal is a little bit uncommon in this deck, which is fine. He still gets it some of the time, and the damage that he deals is extremely important because he allows us to just pick off cards like Teacher of Humility or anything that is just 3 health or less that we want to get rid of. This is really helpful against Praxis tokens and a bunch of other decks just for the ability to get the units down to speed and then start basically buffing up and getting lifesteal across. He's just a really solid way to deal with some flyers. He's just bread and butter for this deck and does very well in the deck. I've only got 3 copies of him, but I would easily run 4 if I had all 4. Ikaria the Liberator is our 2 of. This deck was originally called Ikaria and Friends because I was running both Rezon and Jack, but I decided that since we're only running about 1 to 2 Ikarias, we'd name it after Genetrix instead. Genetrix means Matriarch, so we went for Matriarch of Wrath. Anyways, Ikaria is, of course, another bread and butter card. At 7, she does everything that you want to do on board, and we're always about board presence here. Building big units is very good. Building good flyers is very important. The Aegis is very helpful because it means that we consistently trade 2 for 1 with our big threats. And yeah, she's just got all of the necessary materials to succeed in life. Lieutenant Relia gives us a little bit of extra justice to play out early in the game, and also allows us to find a way past some of those bigger mid-range lists that never seem to run out of threats. When she's a 4/4, she will beat down on any time unit that you can think of, and pretty much any fire unit as well. And it becomes really hard to deal with her without silencing her or finding some sort of hard removal. I think this card's really solid, but it is maybe a 1 or 2 of in this list. It can be a 4 of. I've tried it that way and that's felt okay. But yeah, I like her at 2 right now because 8 is a little bit much, and most of the time we're actually doing okay on power. So safe return, just a 1 of here to make sure that we can protect certain units and give some things with resummonable effects a little bit more oomph. And it also plays well with cards like Stand Together, which give +1/+1 and Aegis to everything. And this, of course, reinforces our huge 37 unit board with a lot of Aegis and a lot of horrifying nonsense. Really fun. Torch and Seek Power fix up our early game, get us into a pretty good position. For our power base, we are using 4 crests. We're using a pile of sigils that we can seek with Seek Power, and we're also using 2 Temple Standards to do similar things to Safe Return and make sure that we can return units of our own type, because we have a lot of units that are pretty good, and we like to be able to bounce them either to refresh their Aegis or to bring back their summon effect like Jack or Rezon. With a little bit of bouncing, we get a lot more control over the board. It's pretty straightforward. This deck is a lot of just play units, get better situations going. Most of the decisions that we'll be making will be made on the battlefield in terms of what type of combat we want to stand for and what we want to block, what we want to attack with. I'll show off a couple of games with the deck, and I hope you guys enjoy it, and let's have some fun. See you in just a second. Alright, here we are against Soulhawk, and I've got Fire Time, Trailmaker here to get me some green, so yeah, it seems comfortable. It's a little bit awkward, but should be just fine. So we'll have the Torch for early aggro, we'll have Trailmaker, which is always good to have, and the green source will allow us to get Night Chancellor Seraph out. Hopefully we'll find a little bit something better. Would like to find some power here. Especially since Trailmaker might get Vara's favored, and that'd be a little bit rough. What you got, Soulhawk? A Blister Sting Wasp. Okay, that's pretty easy to torch. Not in a hurry to do that, though. Crest of Impulse is perfect. We'll just play Night Chancellor Seraph here.
Bring you aid.
And end my turn. Next turn, I get to play a Crest of Impulse and then a Stand Together, and I think we'll feel pretty good. Wisdom of the Elders seems fine. My opponent's trying to draw up, get some control over the board. Aurelian Merchant is solid. I can pick up a Praxis Banner here, and that'll get me close to Ikaria. It'll actually allow me to play Ikaria, so yeah, I'm super into it. Do I play Stand Together here? I'm going to play Aurelian Merchant for a Praxis Banner, so we probably will not use Iron Thorn, and I'll probably hold on to the stand. Seed of Mystery, Haunting Scream, a Blister Sting Wasp to give it Killer, with Seed and Initiation. I think that's overall a pretty slow plan, but it will work, so that's something. Bye, Seraph. Alright, Aurelian Merchant here, looks great. We're going to go ahead and trade Iron Thorn for that Praxis Banner. Play the banner, attack for 2. If he screams the Wasp again, I won't have 7 power, which is a little bit awkward. But I think overall I'm pretty fine with that. Okay, there's the Wasp. It's now a 3/5 charge killer. Kind of frightening. I think I'm okay though. Certainly got some recursive value on that. Go ahead and start my turn. Rezon Greatbow Master. That seems perfect here. We'll just play it down and deal 3 to his face.
Name, you will be judged.
Do I see a Rindra's Choice? That would be exciting. Oh, Equivocate. Get myself a new 6-drop.
Bullet can't buy you freedom.
It's a pretty good one, actually. Alright. Yeah, I can see a lot worse things happening than him equivocating a 6-drop. Hailstorm takes us back down to 5, so our power base is a little more tenuous, and I'm starting to wish that I had that Iron Thorn, but I think we'll be okay. Go ahead and play Teacher here. Teacher can swing in with Stand Together, which is not going to be great. Insistent Automaton bounces Blister Sting back. Okay, there's some combos going here. This deck is entertaining, to say the least. Stand Together, not the card I'm looking for. Genetrix Eero. Yeah, she's power ramp. I need her. Alright. We get Nightfall here, so I'm fine with that. Attacks for 3. Gorgon Fanatic is a heck of a card here. Jack the Bounty Hunter will silence that and keep it from drawing him a bunch more cards. Because that I will not stand for. No, sir. You want to do more killer stuff, you can do more killer stuff on your own time. Another deadly unit. Another Scene Initiation. I gotta worry about my health total now. Like, that Insistent Automaton is causing problems. He's managed to pull a killer unit every single turn so far. Another Jack will silence that 6/5, or maybe that 4/5. Nah, definitely the 3/5 deadly. Get it out of the way. And we got a Jack here as well. Jack Tech deck. That Twilight Hunt seems wrong. Was he expecting it to give a +1/+1? I think we'll stay put. Another Jack, and another Rezon. Okay, so Rezon would give me some lifesteal, assuming I can find more spells. Looks like I don't have more spells for the moment, so we should probably just go for... That was a tough one. I think we just silence this 4/5 here. And then I gotta stay put because he's got this coming off of stun in a second, and I want to preserve my life total for the moment while I play cards like Rezon next turn. Teacher's fine. Rezon doesn't quite kill him.
In Ikaria's name, you will be judged.
Pretty comfy staying put here. If I attack with 1 unit, that puts me in a pretty bad position on the block, so we'll just stay put. Rezon can attack next turn. Equivocated back. Okay. Gun Rustler. Well, I don't have any weapons yet, but that seems fine. Let's go ahead and block these 2 and leave the killer unit.
The Crown Watch still has some steel.
Lieutenant Relia is pretty nice here. Not going to do anything amazing. I think we just go ahead and... play this Jack.
Bullet can't buy you freedom.
End my turn. We're playing it super safe here because any sort of removal could cause problems. Alright, cool. Yeah, that was a weird one, but we certainly won it, so can't complain. Alright, here we are up against Nam Khan. I got Crest of Progress, a Seek Power, and Trailmaker makes 3. This is a little bit too slow, I think. We're going to go ahead and redraw it and see if we can find something better. And we did Crest of Progress into Justice Sigil into Trailmaker, plus Aurelian Merchant, grabbing more power, ideally. I think we're looking pretty good. Night Chancellor Seraph makes another 3-drop, so yeah, I'm super comfy at the moment. Go ahead and play Trailmaker. At this point, probably the most important influence is Fire, so that we can play cards like Torch. Would be nice to get a little bit more green together at some point, but we've got enough for Genetrix, so I think we're feeling pretty comfy. Okay, Worldbearer Behemoth, pretty solid card. I'm going to play Aurelian Merchant here and trade for a Praxis Banner. Then I can block the 2-2 with the 2-1 and still play Worldbearer Behemoth on my turn. Or it can die and we'll play Worldbearer Behemoth into the 2-2. Aurelian Merchant can pick up Disjunction, Night Chancellor Seraph, Sandstorm Scarf, so nothing that makes this 2-2 go away. I'm a little concerned about Annihilate or other tricks. So it'd be nice to have a little bit more power going, but I can always pick up another World Bearer off of Merchant, so let's just play this one now. I want the power, I want to build a little bit more on board, I don't want to get rid of his board, so I'll feel comfy with that. As far as favor isn't anything, it's Annihilate we gotta worry about. Okay, he's got it. Genetrix, always delightful to see you. That gives us a little bit more ramp, so we could probably go with that. I could also play the second Aurelian Merchant and push that way. I think I like Genetrix, though. Let's get rid of this 2-2 deadly unit. Or let's push for 5 damage. Either way, I'm pretty comfy. So next up, Night Chancellor Seraph with a Stand Together might be the possibility. Aurelian Merchant fetching a Worldbearer Behemoth is also pretty good, assuming I can find a good card to Merchant away. That Merchant's not going to do anything this turn. It'll get him some sort of 1-drop. Or it'll get him a Mask of Torment. Some sort of big purple-yellow card. I'm not sure what deck this is. This is really interesting. Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and Aurelian Merchant, and we will trade Stand Together away for a Worldbearer Behemoth. Could also fetch something like Sandstorm Scarf, but I'm just not seeing flyers here. Attack for 5. That's fine. We got the deadly unit, so we're pretty happy with that result. I might play Seraph here. I'm really curious what time card he went for. He doesn't have multiple time influence. I can't think of anything that's in multiples that's going to help him here. Forest Choice does get rid of a card in my hand, so the Worldbearer Behemoth is out. That might be the card he picked up. And he went for Seraph as opposed to Worldbearer Behemoth. Maybe he's got another Annihilate? We'll go ahead and play the Worldbearer Behemoth here. I've got safe return for the Annihilate, so we're fine there. Back to your hole. Still need to build a little bit more power. Okay, we got all head mount breaker. Cool. Let's play this Worldbearer Behemoth. I need to get a little bit of push going. It's possible he has third Annihilate or something like that, but I think I gotta go for it. Xenon Initiation, sure. Justice Sigil gives me a little bit of push. I certainly need to find a Stand Together now.
You cannot put out the light.
Wow.
You cannot put out the light.
That is an extremely buff Dawnwalker. Just off of the Ripknife Assassins, I guess.
The Crown Watch still has
Alright, well,
steel.
that's definitely a Lieutenant Aurelia's Chime to Shine. Gonna be the best card I can get against this particular list, so let's get this 4-4 out, and let's hope that we can get her to stay put.
Coming through.
Okay, big old buff for Allhead. I think we can live with that. Dark Return on the Ripknife Assassin, don't care about that. Yeah, that's actually completely meaningless. Okay, we're actually in really comfy spot here. even though he has a really big board advantage against us, Lieutenant Relia is really awesome, and the stand together here is going to help us a lot. I think we just go ahead and play Genetrix again, beef up Relia, attack with her for 8, and that's of course 16, so my opponent has to block with something. Kill that 4-1. And we'll just keep pecking away at him. All Head's going to bring back Dawnwalkers a lot, so I'm going to have to find some silence effects, some flyers, some other things that can actually deal damage here, but I think we're really comfy just continuing to peck at him for as long as we possibly can. Okay, Aurelian Merchant's going to pick up another card. Could be Avara's Choice, could be some sort of targeted effect on Relia. We've got the stand together, so we're not worried. Could be an Azindal's Gift. No, can't be an Azindal's Gift. Some sort of time card. Mask of Torment doesn't really work. Probably plucked All Head with one of these. Predatory Carnosaur's not going to do anything.
Send a message.
Sure. Think my opponent doesn't quite understand how invulnerable damage works. That happens sometimes. World Bear Behemoth looks lovely. We're going to go ahead and attack for 8 here. And what do you know? We pick something off. So now I get to play a card like World Bear Behemoth and feel pretty happy about it. That'll get me some extra power, thin out my deck a little bit, maybe get me a crest. Don't love the 10-4 here. Not much we can do about it. Martial Ironthorn plays, and I think we just play it down here and consider attacking with the World Bear Behemoth, but maybe we don't. Yeah, I'd actually really like the crest here, and I think I'm good on blocks, so let's do it. Knight Chancellor Seraph, that's great. That's actually exactly the kind of card I want on top right now, because I've got 12 power. Or rather, I've got 11, which is the amount that I want. Cool, so we'll stand together here. That'll Aegis everything up. Keeps World Bearer alive so that I can play with it a little bit, and we dealt 18 to his face, so he's dead? Unless something happens? I think he's just very dead. Block there. Take 10? Take 10. And that's game.
My favorite part.
Auric Interrogator deals 1. I deal everything. I actually could have held back with Martial Ironthorn there, but I think we're good. Torch? Yeah, that sounds lovely. It is lethal next turn. Okay, so yeah, we held that out with Lieutenant Relia. That's the reason that Relia is in the deck, apart from the, of course, occasional power fixing. Alright, here we are up against River Ranger. I've got Crest, Justice Sigil, and a Seek Power. And opener-wise, I think I'm pretty comfy with this. We'll go ahead and give it a run. I would say that as we're looking, like basically all I need to do is find some early game. I've got a decent amount of influence. I'd like a little bit more fire so that we can play Ikaria down, but yeah, we're pretty comfy with this. Crest of Wisdom, that is a card. And we're just going to see if we can actually get the setup that we want. Okay, we found a fire source, so all I have to do is seek power for the other fire source. Stand Together is pretty useful, very good card to have, but I don't think that either of the cards that we're currently playing really want it, so we'll just throw it away for the moment and see if we can find something better. I have a decent amount of power sources in almost every setup. 2 Temple Standards now, so we should probably play at least one of those for time. Lieutenant Relia is not going to be a card that I want right now. I'm going to grab myself a fire source instead so that I can play Ikaria, and then we'll play Temple Standard into potentially Temple Standard number 2. Ah, no, it's fine. We're actually going to play Fire, Justice, Fire. Need extra time, so we'll play our last time source, and then I'll just be able to hold on to the Temple Standard and use it to replay cards like Ikaria or Jack. Feeling pretty good so far. Fire source comes next, then Justice, then Fire. At that point we have Ikaria. We'll have played Jack, so we'll feel pretty comfy with that. Aurelian Merchant is definitely a rough card, and we do want to actually get rid of it if we can. but don't have a current answer to it, so just gonna have to push. Teacher.
You're a sad bunch.
I could use Temple Tactic to play back one card here if I need to. I can also mess up something like a Jotun Hurler, or sorry, a Jotun Feast Caller if it gets played, because I can pop the Aegis on it and then throw a check. Don't really need to defend Teacher here, I think we're fine. Alright, Genetrix is a great play. I'm going to go ahead and play Jack here.
Who's the target?
Attack for 2. Push some damage, and we're just going to keep getting control of the board. Just do as much damage as we can, push a lot, and force my opponent to respond. Oh, Mask of Torment is a slow play, so I think we're in very good shape here. I could play Genetrix right now and just push with both Genetrix and everything, but I actually think that Ikaria is the correct choice here, so let's go ahead and play her.
Rise up or be cut down.
Swing with 6 and 5. There's no responses because he's tapped out all of his power to do that, so this is the best time to do that. I've got Temple Tactic to bring back Ikaria if there's a response this turn, but I don't think there's going to be anything super fast. He could double feeding time or something along those lines. Second Mask. Okay, that's going to be too slow. Island's Favor. That's a face Aegis. We don't care about that. So most he can do here is throw an Equivocate, something along those lines. Genetrix Irel puts 9 damage across. Rezon Greatbow Master kills a blocker. Kill a blocker with Rezon, Temple Tactic. Nope, can't quite do that. If I Temple Tactic... Ooh, hang on a sec. You might be able to find lethal here. Temple Tactic the 1/4. 6 here, 6 here, 5 here. It's gotta take 5, and then 6 is gonna be 11. Rezon is then not quite lethal, but pretty close. I think it's probably the best route. He's got some sort of response. Oh, interesting. A Corrupt. On my Trailmaker. Okay, well, I'll take some extra influence, I guess. Let's go ahead and play the Crest of Impulse here. Another Trailmaker we don't care about. Genetrix, go ahead and buff up to 5/5. And you and Jack will both swing in for a bunch of damage. Alright. I think that was one of my decks. Or just someone taking a page out of my book. I do appreciate the Corrupt. That was good value. That's it for today's brew. Hope you guys enjoyed. Here's a slightly cheaper version that we've devised, focusing on a few more overwhelm units so we can push a little bit more damage with Genetrix early and be a little bit more aggressive. We're running cards like Cinder Yeti, Pyro Knight, and Awakened Student as a replacement for Teacher of Humility, just so that we have a nice bit of a good old build. This is just a bit more aggressive version of the deck. It's a lot less focused on the big value units. It doesn't have quite as much ramp, so we're going a little bit lighter on cards like Rezon and Ikaria, while still keeping in, of course, Jack, because Jack is pretty easy to pick up. You just have to play the Jack's Bounty setup to get him. So yeah, just a little bit of a cheaper list, and hopefully one that you can have as much fun with. I hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you next time. More Eternal Brews. Cheers, everyone.